Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to the Fibroid Shrinking Kitchen. If you are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Josephine. I am a detox coach and I specialize in detoxing to rid the body of toxins and inflammation such as fibroids so you can gain your body confidence and self-esteem back and improve your quality of life. And I do that using food as medicine. Today I want to talk to you about what feeds fibroids. It's important that you understand what feeds fibroids so that way you can make the necessary changes in your life to help yourself. So that if you're on a journey to shrink fibroids naturally, you'll be able to do that if you know what is feeding them, okay? So I want to share 5 things that feed fibroids that you can start removing as of today to start shrinking fibroids naturally. Okay, and before we get into that, I just want to share that if you're on a health and wellness journey and you're looking to shrink fibroids naturally and you want to know how to balance your hormones, I have a link under the description box of a 1-hour webinar that you can watch instantly to know how to balance your hormone to shrink fibroids naturally. I also have a detox ebook that you can start using to balance your hormones and to shrink fibroids naturally. I will have that under the description box. And also my 12 weeks detox program will be opening up soon. So I invite you to join the wait list and I will have the link under the description box, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is what are fibroids. So if you don't know what fibroids are, or you're not really, you've heard about it and you're not even sure if you have fibroids. So fibroids are non-cancerous benign tumors that grow within and around the muscle wall of the uterus. So the way you can find out if you have fibroids is through an ultrasound. You can experience symptoms and signs, but until you go to your OBGYN to check through an ultrasound, through vaginal or abdominal ultrasound, that's when you'll be able to know that you have fibroids. So in most cases, they are symptomatic too, which means you are not experiencing any kind of symptoms, such as heavy bleeding or large clots or painful sex, pelvic pressure, backache, constipation. So these are some of the symptoms that come with fibroids, and some women don't even experience that. And they go about their day not even knowing they have fibroids. So they can be asymptomatic. So the best way to find out if you're experiencing some symptoms is to go to your OBGYN to get checked, to confirm. And if you're experiencing already heavy bleeding, painful cramps are actually not normal. There is some kind of pain, but if it's the kind of pain that you have to take off from work or from doing any kind of activities, that is not normal. So you definitely need to get yourself checked. So this fibroids thrive on estrogen. So estrogen is a hormone, and its purpose is for fertility and other processes in your body. And hormones in general control a lot of processes. I'm talking about from digestion to your weight to your sex to every single thyroid health. Every pretty much single process in your body is controlled by fibroids. So it's important to have that way that your fibroids are in harmony and one is not higher than the other one. So fibroids, they thrive in an estrogenic environment. And the way we get estrogen in our body could be through different things, excess estrogen. So it could be the way your lifestyle, how you're eating, the food you're putting into your body, could be through environmental toxin. It also could be through stress in your body. So I'm just gonna give you 5 things that do add that estrogen and that continue to feed fibroids in your body. So the first thing is processed foods. So processed foods, there's a list of different things that is considered processed. So under the processed foods, we're looking at fast foods that are highly processed and are fried, deep fried. So you want to do your best to eliminate a lot of the processed food. So if you're not buying food in its whole nature and cooking it fresh into your kitchen and you're consuming processed foods, you are continuing to feed fibroids. So we are talking about foods that are deep fried, the burgers, anything that is deep fried that is not in its whole form is feeding fibroids. So be very conscious about that and be aware about that. Every time you grab something that is processed, you are feeding fibroids in your body, and you are also making them to grow bigger and faster. So it's important to stick to a very whole plant-based things in their natural state. A lot of food that is processed contains sugar, and sugar feed fibroids. So under processed foods, there's different kind of sugary foods. We're talking about snacks, the donuts, the pretzels, the hamburgers. We're talking about anything that is gone through a factory process. So sugar feeds fibroids, and there's sugar in a lot of things, so you want to really ensure that you are limiting your consumption of sugar in your diet. Under food, we also have alcohol. So alcohol also raises your estrogen level. So you can drink a glass of red wine, but if you're a social drinker, if you're someone who enjoys a glass of wine every single day, or not just wine, it could be any kind of alcohol, that raises your estrogen level, and that continues to feed fibroids. In general, alcohol is an inflammation, adds inflammation in the body. So it's very important to be cautious of how much you're drinking. The other thing is caffeine. So caffeine, if you are fond of grabbing a cup of coffee every morning, that you are feeding fibroids, because caffeine also brings an inflammation into your body, and they also feed fibroids vigorously. So it's important that you can start doing what you need to do to help yourself, and that means getting rid or omitting these things that are feeding fibroids, so that when you reach a stage where you feel that you have obliterated your situation, you've shrunk the fibroids naturally, if you're on a naturopath journey, because that's what I did. So you are able to really help yourself and remove these foods in your diet. Under processed foods, we also have processed meat. So when we're talking about animal-based products, they contain also hormones, added hormones. So, we're talking about red meat, white meat, fish, eggs, all animal-based products. They do have some form of hormones added onto them. And and these hormones, they mimic estrogen in the body. So that continues to feed fibroids. So when you're eating animal-based products, the process through that animal goes through before it can get to your plate, it has been exposed to hormones through the medication, and just generally even milk itself that the cow produces, and you eat the ice cream. Any animal-based products, they contain some form of hormones in them, and that gets into your body, and that feeds your fibroids. So it's usually a cycle, and it's a matter of just taking the stuff. And if it's a temporary situation, you can do that. If you decide what you want to introduce into your diet later on, you can do that. But you first need to make sure that you're really removing those things that are adding hormones into your body. And animal-based products, processed meat, do that. They do that. Okay? So the other thing under food or processed foods is gluten or wheat or grains. So I struggled with this a lot, and until recently, I really had to really cut out the grains and the gluten in my diet. And if you're someone who is really going through constipation, because some of the things is that fibroids can also press onto your digestive system. So that really brings so much pressure, and I suffered with constipation, and that also brought about hemorrhoids. So the thing is, processed wheat, those are in like rice, brown rice, white rice. We're talking about bread. We're talking about couscous. So all these wheat-based products, they are inflammatory to the body. And it's important that you are conscious about it, and you know that. So if you are really in a terrible situation with fibroids and they're causing you a lot of pain, I would recommend that you omit them. Grains are really a big inflammation to the body. And I know for me, once I removed grains, that's when I saw the biggest impact. I had to just remove no bread, no kind of rice. I do indulge in quinoa, so or black wild rice on occasion, millet, fonio, I do on occasion, but I do try to limit the amount of wheat, gluten, grain that I'm consuming, because it also, my digestion is very sensitive to that. So every time I eat that, I just get some form of constipation. So fibroids feed on those things, the wheat, the gluten, the grain. So just think about anything that the pasta, bread, pasta, white rice, brown rice. As we talked about couscous. We've talked about all forms of grains. They do feed fibroids. So just be aware of that and just get that out of your diet if you can, so that you can start shrinking fibroids naturally. It's very, very important. You can introduce, as I said, you can use quinoa, is a really healthy grain. Black white rice, you can use that occasionally, until you feel that you're in a place where you feel that you're in control of that. Because when you start to omit certain foods into your diet, you go through a withdrawal symptoms and you feel like you miss this food so much, and it can be very hard to let go at the beginning. But once you're into that stage where you feel like you've separated yourself, you're in control of your food decisions, that now that you're aware of, you can start, bringing in black white rice, a little bit of quinoa here and there. Okay, so the other important under food or processed foods is soy. And I see that in a lot of the vegan foods. So soy and soy-based products are super pro-inflammatory, especially soy, because back in the day, soy contains something called xenoestrogen. It's processed, and the xenoestrogen mimics estrogen in the body, and it's all processed. And when you're consuming soy-based products, they just do havoc in the fibroids, and they do feed fibroids a lot. So remember that a lot of vegan foods, burgers, I see a lot of processed vegan foods contain soy in them. So if you've transitioned to a vegan diet or a whole plant-based diet, I don't even call it, it's a lifestyle for me. It's a whole plant-based, which means I'm just consuming a lot of whole foods. I wouldn't say it's a vegan necessarily. You need to be aware about the things that you're putting in, such as soy. They're in condiments, they're in a lot of things. So know that soy feeds fibroids constantly. Okay, so those are what are under food, processed foods, that you should be omitting temporarily until you feel that your fibroids are in a state where they're shrunk. All right, moving to number 2. Now, the other ways of feeding fibroids is when you have unhealthy fat, so within your midsection, your hips, your thighs, because the fat tissues, they absorb and store estrogen that circulates in your bloodstream. So it's important to keep a healthy weight, and that varies for different people. You just need to make sure that you are not carrying excess weight in those middle section, especially for us women. So that also, you're increasing estrogen into your body because they're just circulating, and the fat tissues just keep hiding those excess estrogen, and they keep circulating in your blood. So it's important to exercise and maintain a healthy weight, and that way you're not continuing to feed fibroids in that form of every time there's, if you're maintaining unhealthy body weight, you are feeding fibroids because they just keep thriving, because there's always estrogen presence in your body, because you're storing it in the fat tissues and it's circulating in your bloodstream. So that's how it goes. The third thing that feeds fibroids is the stress. So stress is inflammation in the body. it's important that you are finding ways to relieve your stress. And stress is really, really crucial. You can eat healthy, you can exercise, you can do the things that you're doing in your life. But stress in your body brings so much emotions, and fibroids are based on your feelings, your emotions, how you are as a woman, your creativity. When you are blocking that through some kind of stress in your body, it could be through relationship stress, work-based stress, or life in general stress. So we all get stress. Stress is a normal part. Actually, stress is a great thing, but too much stress is a problem, and if you're not finding ways to relieve that stress, it definitely is problematic. So it's important to ensure that you are really in a place where you feel that you are relieving your stress in the right ways. You know, as I said, you can exercise, and you can do meditation, you can do yoga, you can go for a walk, read books, or find motivational things online to just inspire your spirit and get to that state where your hormones are balanced. So every time you're stressed out, your hormones are imbalanced. You're creating an imbalance into your hormone because your estrogen level, the cortisol, is the stress hormone itself, and it makes the progesterone, and when your progesterone is high, it's a hot mess. It's a whole mess. It's a whole lot of things going on in your body. So you need to make sure that you're really taking care of yourself and also relieving the stress from your body, okay? So the fourth thing is the drinking from the plastic water bottles, or even storing your food in plastic-based containers. So plastics contain these chemicals, that mimic the xenoestrogen. They mimic estrogen in the body, and every time you see from that plastic bottle, you're adding more chemicals into your body, into your system, because it's so easy to grab that bottle of plastic water to drink. Because it's there, it's convenient, it's easy, it's everywhere. But remember that they contain BPA, it says BPA free. Be careful, because I believe that when that plastic is exposed to heat, that just leaches chemicals into your water, and you drink that, and it goes into your body system as well. And under that, I would also I would recommend doing a health check on your personal care products. So you're talking about lotion, your makeup, your foundation, your lipstick, all kinds of personal care products, your feminine hygiene products, all these things, they have some chemicals in them. And if you're not using products that are really chemical free or vegan, or I'd really more on the vegan side or chemical free, it's likely that you're feeding fibroids, because it builds up over time. All right, it's not like a one-time thing that where you put all these chemicals and it's like that. It builds up. The usage of it, the drinking from the plastic bottles, it's a big thing. It's all the time you do it. And the process through that water came to you, that you're consuming it, it's a youth thing. So it's a big process, and it takes time for these things to build up. But when they do create some kind of issues with your hormonal. They cause the hormonal imbalance into your body. So be careful with that. Make sure that you're use glass containers for your food storage. Look for glass containers or stainless steel as well for carrying water. Just take your water with you if you can. Drink clean filtered water, so that way you're not drinking water that is not pure for your body, that is messing up with the pH in your body, because when you mess up with that, you're messing up with your hormones. So as you can see, it takes one thing for just everything to just go downhill. So it's important to just remember to maintain that healthy, clean, balanced lifestyle for you, for your body. And fibroids, they act differently in every woman. They show up differently in every woman. We don't all experience the same symptoms, So it's important to just feel how you feel personally. Take notes, record when you start to eliminate these things that are causing you so much symptoms and pain, just take a journal, record, and just make sure that you're tracking your pain and your feelings, so that way you know what is working, efficiently. It's very important to keep a fibroid journal if you're not doing that already. If you are, please let me know in the comment box. Is that helping you? Are you finding any usage of having a fibroid journal? Because it's good to just keep track of these things to know if you're really progressing or not. And my final thought about what fits fibroids is the birth control pills. So they add estrogen into your body. So if you and your partner and you're on birth control pills, just know that they are causing imbalance into your body. And I had birth control pills at a certain point in my life, and they were really messing up with my emotions. And I could tell, because I knew something was different about me. You start to feel that you're just not the same. And I felt that, and I had to immediately cut that. They mess up with your hormones. They add extra estrogen without the progesterone to balance it. I know there's all different kind of birth controls out here, that some are not estrogenic. I just say find a way for you and your partner to, use a condom, do something, time your ovulation, do something that would work for you without really damaging your body as a woman. Because I feel like when you start to take these birth control pills, they just mask the symptoms. They don't really give you the actual, signs and symptoms that you could be dealing with. They just mask it, and when you're off them, those same signs and symptoms come back. So find ways, other natural ways, that you and your partner can still have sex, enjoy sex, without really causing more havoc in your body as a woman, and causing more pain and suffering, and really not messing up with the quality of your life. So that's it for today. I wanted to share those 5 things that feed fibroids. And let me know if this was helpful. Let me know in the comment box. And I said I will link all under the description box. I'm going to have links for the ebook, for the webinar, and also for my 12-week detox program. If you're ready to feel fantastic, if you're ready to balance your hormone, to improve your quality of life, and just to gain yourself as a woman, to get that vibrant, healthy lifestyle that you deserve. Because I believe every woman deserves to be happy and healthy in their own body, because our bodies are magical. Your body is magical, and you deserve to be happy living in it. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions or comment box, write them in the comment section, and I will be happy to get back to you. As always, be well, be healthy, be happy. Until next time, bye bye.